have low vision or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Dave, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the current issues of the Lockport Union-Sun Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. This article is headlined, High Winds Batter Niagara County. Snowfall of 2 to 4 inches expected Wednesday as weather event continues. The last week of 2025 started with damaging winds and possible heavy snowfall expected in the region, including Niagara County. We had a very strong cold front across Niagara County this morning, said David Thomas, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service Buffalo office Monday afternoon. The cold air behind it produces strong winds. A high wind warning was in effect through 1 a.m. Tuesday throughout western New York, as winds from the southwest blew from 35 to 45 miles per hour, with some gusts as high as 75 miles per hour. Thomas said the strongest wind gusts seen at the Buffalo International Airport were at 66 miles per hour at 12:17 p.m. In the village of Lewiston, emergency crews responded to a partial collapse of Coppin's Service Center on Center Street, which shut down the roadway and nearby sidewalks for a time. Crews conducted a full evaluation of utilities, including nearby power lines, to ensure there were no immediate hazards, and a coordinated effort on the scene was made to secure the remaining portion of the structure and prevent any additional collapse, according to Lewiston Fire Company No. 1 Chief Spencer Lilly. The cause of the collapse is under investigation. In Wheatfield, 4 utility poles were knocked down at the intersection of Niagara Falls Boulevard and Williams Road on Monday morning. While snow accumulation amounted to an inch on Monday, with another inch expected on Tuesday, the strong wind gusts prorated with whiteout conditions for drivers in some spots. Please be careful on roads. In particular, pay attention for downed trees and power lines due to the wind, a post on Niagara County Facebook page on Monday read. A lakeshore flood warning was in effect until Monday afternoon, with flooding in Niagara County happening along the upper Niagara River shoreline and Cayuga Island. It was canceled due to temperatures falling below freezing, resulting in not expecting flooding from streams or creeks. Conditions were expected to improve today, with wind speeds going down to less than 40 miles per hour and not much snow accumulation. More widespread snow is expected on Wednesday throughout western New York, with Niagara County expecting to see between 2 and 4 inches throughout the day. Temperatures for outdoor New Year's Eve celebrations were forecast to be in the teens, with the wind chill dropping that down to single digits. The winds have already blown down many power lines across the region, with National Grid reporting at 1 p.m. Monday that they had 751 active outages in its western New York service area, with 41,342 customers affected. Those outages have impacted at least 4,262 customers in Niagara County, with the overall number growing over the day. While most of the impacted areas are expected to be those along the Lake Erie shoreline, with Buffalo possibly getting up to 3 feet of snow, those along Lake Ontario should not expect any flooding issues. Lake levels are lower than normal, even though there are significant waves on the lake. That is helping minimize damage along the shoreline. Those driving during these harsh conditions, including towards southern Erie County or the southern tier, where snowfall is greater, are advised to have an emergency car care kit on hand in any case of issues. National Grid officials said Monday more than 3,300 line, tree, and public safety officials were deployed to the area to assess damage, clean up debris, and restore power to customers caused by the ongoing severe winter storm, forecast to affect upstate New York throughout Wednesday. As of 3 p.m. on Monday, National Grid had restored service to more than 70,800 or more than 112,300 customers affected by the storm. Many areas of upstate New York have been impacted by wind gusts exceeding 70 miles an hour, resulting in fallen trees, snapped tree limbs, broken utility poles, and downed power lines. National Grid crews from across New York were positioned in advance of the storm to have been supplemented with resources from Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Missouri, New Hampshire, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and the Canadian provinces of Ontario and Quebec to expand the company's response. Our crews are in the field working around the clock to repair damage and bring our systems back online, said Kyle Bentley, National Grid Vice President of New York Electric Operations. Our top priority is the safety of our crews and the public we serve. We ask our customers to please drive slowly and cautiously when approaching utility crews at work and to abide by road closures or restrictions due to damaged equipment. This article is titled, Niagara County Health Officials Say Flu Cases Are on the Rise. State officials report a 38% increase in cases across New York. Confirmed influenza cases are shooting up, according to data from the Niagara County Department of Public Health, but it's not too late to get vaccinated. According to Dr. Fauzia Khan, the county's health director, children ages 5 to 17 make up the most cases, but the most hospitalizations are among people over age 75. Data reported for the week of December 20th showed 347 flu cases in Niagara County, up from 217 the previous week. The weekly flu count exceeded the 275 total reported COVID cases for the season. On Friday, State Health Commissioner Dr. James McDonald said 71,123 positive flu cases were reported for the week ending December 20th, the most that department ever recorded in 1 week since influenza was made reportable in 2004. McDonald said the number indicated a 38% increase from the previous week. During the holidays, we are meeting more people, Khan said, and in the winter, everyone is close together, spending time indoors. Since September 28th, the county began statistics for the current flu season. 750 cases have been confirmed across Niagara. Of those cases, 97% have been influenza A, with the remaining cases found were influenza B. Nearly 300 of the county's cases were children 5 to 17 years old. Adults age 18 to 49 made up 16 cases, with 103 cases in children under age 4. Adults over age 50 totaled 126 cases in Niagara County, according to the health department. National statistics show that flu cases are spiking this season compared to a more gradual rise in the 2 years prior. The flu seems really bad this year, said Jill Caruso, RPH pharmacist and Lockport apothecary at 6606 Lincoln Avenue. The illness was early. There's a high demand for flu shots. I'm moving a lot of Tamiflu as well. Caruso said her store is vaccinating 40 to 50 people a day during flu clinics. She said the store tries to take as many vaccination appointments as possible as they can, and community members should call to set up a time between 11:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Lockport Apothecary only provides flu vaccinations to people over age 18. If they're not feeling well that day, they probably shouldn't get the shot until they're feeling better. Well, for people who have not had their shot this year, Caruso said, if you didn't get one yet, get one. It won't hurt you. I've been given a lot of COVID and RSV vaccines too. Walmart Pharmacy on South Transit Street also had a number of flu shot appointments available through their online scheduling site. I think the flu is rough this year because I'm getting a lot of questions for the flu and COVID tests, and of course, the distributor doesn't have them right now. This article is entitled, U.S. Pledges $2 billion for UN aid as Trump warns agencies to adapt or die. The United States on Monday announced a $2 billion pledge for UN humanitarian aid as President Trump's administration slashes U.S. foreign assistance and warns United Nations agency they must adapt, shrink, or die in a time of new financial realities. The money is a small fraction of what the U.S. has contributed in the past, but reflects what the administration believes is still a generous amount that will maintain America's status as the world's largest humanitarian donor. This new model will better share the burden of UN humanitarian work with other developed countries and will require the UN to cut bloat, remove duplication, and commit to powerful new impact accountability and oversight mechanism, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on social media. The pledge creates an umbrella fund from which money will be doled out to agencies and priorities, and a key part of U.S. demands for drastic changes across the UN that have alarmed many humanitarian workers and led to severe reductions in programs and services. The $2 billion is only a sliver of traditional U.S. humanitarian funding for UN-coordinated programs, which has run as high as $17 billion annually in recent years, according to UN data. U.S. officials say only $8 billion to $10 billion of that has been voluntarily contributed. The United States also pays billions in annual dues related to the UN membership. The piggy bank is not open to organizations that just want to return to the old system, Jeremy Lowen, the State Department official in charge of foreign assistance, said at a press conference Monday in Geneva. President Trump has made clear that the system is dead. The State Department said individual UN agencies will need to adapt, shrink, or die. Critics say the Western aid cutbacks have been short-sighted, driven millions toward hunger, displacement, or disease, and harmed U.S. soft power around the world. The move caps a crisis year for many UN organizations, including its refugee, migration, and food aid agencies. The Trump administration has already cut billions in U.S. foreign aid, prompting the agencies to slash spending aid projects and thousands of jobs. Other traditional Western donors have reduced outlays also. The U.S. pledge for aid programs of the United Nations, the world's top provider of humanitarian assistance and biggest recipients of U.S. humanitarian aid money, takes shape in a preliminary deal with the UN Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, or OCHA, run by Tom Fletcher, a former British diplomat and government official. Fletcher, who has spent the past year lobbying U.S. officials not to abandon UN funding altogether, appeared optimistic at the deal's signing in Geneva. It's a very significant landmark contribution, and a month ago I would have anticipated the number would have been zero, he told reporters. And so I think, before worrying about what we haven't got, I'd like to look at the millions of people whose lives will be saved, whose lives will be better because of this contribution, and start there. Even as the U.S. pulls back its aid contributions, needs have ballooned worldwide. Famine has been recorded this year in parts of conflict-ridden Sudan and Gaza, and floods, drought, and natural disasters that many scientists attribute to climate change have taken many lives or driven thousands from their homes. The cuts will have major implications for UN affiliates like the International Organization for Migration, the World Food Program, and the refugee agency UNHCR. They have already received billions less from the U.S. this year than under annual allocations from the Biden administration or even during Trump's first term. Now the idea is that Fletcher's office, which has aimed to improve efficiency, will become a funnel for U.S. and other aid money that can be redirected to those agencies rather than scattered U.S. contributions to a variety of individual appeals for aid. This article is titled, "Pickup Truck Driving Wrong Way on Parkway Causes Head-On Crash." Police are searching for the driver of a pickup truck that fled the scene on foot after a wrong-way crash head-on the Niagara Scenic Parkway Sunday night in Niagara Falls. New York State Park Police are investigating the two-vehicle crash, which occurred about 8:40 p.m. Park Police, along with Niagara Falls Fire and AMR, responded to the crash site on the Parkway just east of 53rd Street overpass. The driver of the pickup reportedly fled the scene prior to first responders arriving. The driver of the SUV was transported to the hospital by ambulance with non-life-threatening injuries. A preliminary investigation indicates that the pickup truck was traveling westbound the wrong way in the eastbound lanes and struck the SUV traveling eastbound. This article is entitled, "Powerball Jackpot Run Delivers More Than $79 Million to New York." State ticket sales generate $68 million in aid to education, $11.7 million for retailers. Even though the $1.8 billion Powerball jackpot draw held on Christmas Eve was won in Arkansas, ticket sales leading up to the drawing generated more than $79 million combined for New York's public schools and lottery retailers. Powerball jackpot began rolling September 8th, resulting in 47 drawings held until December 24th. In New York State, Powerball tickets sales totaled $194.2 million during the run. All of New York profits from the sales are constitutionally dedicated to New York's K-12 public schools, totaling $68 million during the jackpot. Commissions on ticket sales paid to retailers in that time frame across the state totaled $11.7 million. New York's public schools and lottery retails always win big when massive jackpots build, said Gaming Commissioner Chair Brian O'Dwyer. The benefit and the excitement are real in New York State, with nearly 100 winning tickets worth $50,000 or more being sold right here during the jackpot run. Multiple New Yorkers also won prizes during the Powerball roll-up between September 8th and December 24th. New York retailers sold $36 million in winning Powerball prizes. There were 99 prizes of at least $50,000 sold in New York State during the roll-up, including 11 Powerball $1 million second prize winners, 1 PowerPlay $200,000 third prize winner, 2 PowerPlay $150,000 third prize winners, 12 PowerPlay $100,000 third prize winners, and 73 Powerball $50,000 third prize winners. You are listening to reading of articles and features from the Lockport Union-Sun Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. This article is entitled, "2025 was one of the 3 hottest years on record, scientists say." Climate change worsened by human behavior made 2025 one of the 3 hottest years on record, scientists say. It was also the first time that the 3-year temperature average broke through the threshold set in the 2015 Paris Agreement of limiting warming to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit since pre-industrial times. Experts say that keeping the Earth below that limit could save lives and prevent catastrophic environmental destruction around the globe. The analysis from World Weather Attribution researchers released Tuesday in Europe came after a year when people around the world were slammed by the dangerous extremes brought on by a warming planet. Temperatures remained high despite the presence of La Niña, the occasional natural cooling of Pacific Ocean waters that influences weather worldwide. Researchers cited the continued burning of fossil fuels, oil, gas, and coal, that send planet-warming greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. If we don't stop burning fossil fuels very, very quickly, very soon, it will be very hard to keep that goal of warming. Frederic Otto, co-founder of World Weather Attribution and an Imperial College London climate scientist, told the Associated Press. The science is increasingly clear. Extreme weather events kill thousands of people and cost billions of dollars in damage. WWA scientists identified 157 extreme weather events as most severe in 2025, meaning they met criteria such as causing more than 100 deaths, affecting more than half an area's population, or having a state of emergency declared. Of those, they closely analyzed 22. That included dangerous heat waves, which the WWA said were the world's deadliest extreme weather events in 2025. The researchers said some of the heat waves they studied in 2025 were 10 times more likely than they would have been a decade ago due to climate change. The heat waves we have observed this year are quite common events in our climate today, but they would have been almost impossible to occur without human-induced climate change, Otto said. It makes a huge difference. Meanwhile, prolonged drought contributed to wildfires that scorched Greece and Turkey. Torrential rains and flooding in Mexico killed dozens of people and left many more missing. Super Typhoon Feng Wang slammed the Philippines, forcing more than 1 million people to evacuate. Monsoon rains battered India with floods and landslides. The WWA said the increasingly frequent and severe extremes threatened the ability of millions of people across the globe to respond and adapt to those events with enough warning, time, and resources that the science call limits of adaptation. The report pointed to Hurricane Melissa as an example. The storm intensified so quickly that it made forecasting and planning more difficult and pummeled Jamaica, Cuba, and Haiti so severely that it left the small island nations unable to respond to and handle its extreme losses and damage. This year's United Nations climate talks in Brazil in November ended without any explicit plan to transition away from fossil fuels, and though more money was pledged to help countries adapt to climate change, they will take more time to do it. Official scientists and analysts have conceded that Earth's warming will overshoot 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2.7 Fahrenheit, though some say reversing that trend remains possible. This article is entitled, Youngstown Issues Bonds for Sewer and Waterline Projects. The Youngstown Board of Trustees issued $776,152 worth of bonds meant to cover the costs of anticipated sewer line improvements and water line replacements on Lockport Street next year. Of that amount, $488,152 would go toward replacing the water line, with the remaining $291,848 paid by the state, with $280,000 earmarked for making slip lining improvements to the sewer line. The waterline replacements are targeted from the Main Street intersection down to Cherry Street, with both sets of bonds taking 5 years to mature. This work will take place at the same time as the State Department of Transportation reconstructs Lockport Street from the Main Street intersection to the Niagara Scenic Parkway ramps, while also correcting excessive shoulder slope approaches from driveways. Since they're excavating the road, the infrastructure is 70 years old. This is time to replace the infrastructure, said Deputy Mayor Rick Stortecki. The DOT construction work will cost around $8 million, with funding coming from federal, state, and local sources. Bid opening will take place this winter, with the contracts to be awarded this April. Construction is planned to last from spring through fall 2026, with both the waterline and sewer work happening at the same time. As the state is overseeing the waterline installation, it will handle the bidding for the village. Stortecki noted that there would also be new sidewalk lighting along the impacted stretch of road. The village has subcontracted Kenyon Pipeline of Queensbury to carry out the sewer slip lining work. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Lockport Union-Sun and Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. This article is titled Lewiston Businesses Recovering from Facade Wind Damage. Owner Jay Coppins estimates repairs should take months. It was business as usual Tuesday for Coppins Service Center on Center Street, but its front facade will be boarded up until repair work can be done. On Monday morning, as the region dealt with high-speed winds, a big gust took out the brick facade over the auto repair shop, its debris lying at the front entrance and garage. Lewiston Fire Company No. 1 responded to the scene at 11:40 a.m. with the portion of Center Street in front of the shop temporarily closed until 1 p.m. No one was hurt when the facade fell, and no other parts of the building were damaged. Jay Coppins, the fourth-generation owner of the shop since 2007, said they were closed for around 4 hours as friends, neighbors, and other community members helped with the cleanup work. Aside from firefighters, Lewiston Police and the village DPW responded, with local contractors offering services to repair the roof. It opened up the attic, but I had some good friends and a great community that came together and got it done quick, Coppins said. The building dates back to 1909 and has not experienced weather damage like this before. It's operated as a family business since 1937. Coppins said he still has to talk to his insurance company about how long it would take to repair, but he estimates it would take a few months at least. Any repair plans would require village approval, as he looks to keep the same look as before. This is the bulletin board segment of the Union-Sun and Journal of December 31st. Upcoming Child Caregiving Info Session. An Introduction to Child Care informational sessions will be held from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. January 7th at Niagara Community Action Program, 1521 Main Street. This is for those interested in becoming a registered, licensed child care provider. If you have received the Office of Children and Family Services Child Care Daycare application, bring it to this session. OCFS requires individuals caring for more than 2 children to become registered or licensed. To register for the informational session, call the Community Care Clearinghouse of Niagara at 716-285-8572, extension 109, or 1-800-701-4KID. Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service exists for members of the community who are blind or sight impaired. Every day, volunteers read newspapers, books, magazines, and other printed materials over the air on a 24/7 basis, as well as online to any internet-connected device. The service is free. For information about how it works, call 716-821-5555 or visit NFRRA Radio Reading Service. Dementia Caregiver Assistance. The Alzheimer's Association of Western New York chapter offers programs to assist caregivers of people living with dementia. Download the quarterly program guide, which references educational and support services at https://www.alz.org/WNY/Helping You Program Catalog, or request a mailed copy at Program Western New York at alz.org or at 716-626-0600, extension 313. Narcotics Anonymous meetings are open to anyone who wants to attend, especially those who are battling addiction. The current meeting schedule is as follows. Sunday, Moment of Clarity, 7 p.m. at 185 Locust Street, Lockport. Enter off Mack Alley and park in the back. Monday, Steps to Freedom, 10 a.m. at Lockview Plaza, 41 Main Street, Lockport, basement suite G4. Primary purpose, 6:30 p.m. at Redeemer Lutheran Church, 265 Falconer Street, North Tonawanda. Recovery Here and Now, 7 p.m. at Lockview Plaza, basement suite G4, Lockport. Tuesday, Principles Before Personalities, 10:05 a.m. at 75 East Avenue, Lockport, desperately seeking solutions, 7 p.m. at Lockport Plaza, basement suite G4, Lockport. Wednesday, A New Way to Live, 1 p.m. at 33 Ontario Street, Lockport. Gratitude Speaks, 7 p.m. at 7145 Fieldcrest Drive, Lockport. Thursday, Plain and Simple, 10 a.m. at 144 Main Street, Lockport. Recovery, How and Why, 7 p.m. at 265 Falconer Street, North Tonawanda. Show Up to Grow Up, 7 p.m. at 555 Davison Road, Lockport. Friday, Living Clean, 10 a.m. at Lockport Plaza, 41 Main Street, Lockport. Basement, Suite G4. Saturday, No Matter What, 11 a.m. at 3044 Walnut Street, Lockport. Serene Saturday, 7 p.m. at Lockport Plaza, 41 Main Street, Lockport. Basement Suite G4. The Niagara Orleans Area NA helpline number is 716-478-6992. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Lockport Union-Sun Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. This article is State Officials Highlight 2025 Road and Bridge Improvements. More than 1,200 bridges impacted by work in Western New York. State officials say New York's investments in better roads and bridges led to upgrade or rehabilitation of more than 4,120 lane miles of state and local highways, filled more than 1.3 million potholes, and replaced, rehabilitated, or improved more than 3,700 bridges. In Western New York, officials said 549 lane miles of roadway saw work, and 1,272 bridges were upgraded. The New York State Department of Transportation and Thruway Authority completed a historic amount of work on 2025, according to Governor Kathy Hochul's office, with a 47% increase to the lane mileage of roadways upgraded or rehabilitated, and a 19% increase in the number of bridges repaired or replaced compared to 2024. Together, 2025 saw $3.6 billion invested in critical improvements to New York's transportation infrastructure. The milestones achieved this year reflect Governor Hochul's determination to build back New York's infrastructure to improve quality of life, enhance resiliency against climate change, and improve safety. New Yorkers deserve a dependable transportation network that gets them where they need to be safely and efficiently, and we are working in high gear to ensure they get it. Thanks to the hard work and dedication of our highway crews and contractors, we made remarkable progress during the past year to modernize our roads and bridges, giving New Yorkers smoother rides and fewer hassles in their daily travels, and we have no intention of slowing down in 2026. During 2025, the New York State Department of Transportation improved 3,960 lane miles along state and local highways, representing more than $1.6 billion investment in New York's roadways. New York State DOT also replaced, rehabilitated, or improved 3,678 bridges statewide, totaling nearly $1.8 billion. New York State DOT's work accounted for nearly $3.5 billion investment that enhanced safety, improved sustainability, and boosted resiliency against severe weather impacts. Additionally, in 2025, the New York State Thruway Authority reinvested toll dollars in improvements across the system, including $158 million to reconstruct or rehabilitate more than 160 total lane miles, $89 million to repair or rehabilitate 26 bridges, $2 million in infrastructure improvements, and $18 million in the Intelligent Transportation Systems, ITS, upgrades. In addition to roadway resurfacing, the Thruway Authority also invested over $14 million in safety enhancements, including guide rail repairs, lane striping, signage, and drainage improvements. The state DOT is planning to resurface more than 4,000 lane miles of state highways in 2026, totaling nearly $1.2 billion investment. 2026 will see the most ambitious paving agenda ever put forward by the agency. The Thruway Authority's approved 2026 budget also invests a total more than $600 million in capital contracts scheduled to be awarded in 2026, an increase of more than $133.5 million from the 2025 budget projected totals, and one of the largest single-year investments in Thruway history. The 2026 budget includes a historic $2.8 billion capital plan for 2026 through 2030. The 5-year plan will fund the replacement or preservation of 150 of the Thruway's 819 bridges, about 18%, and the resurfacing of more than 1,500 of its 2,800 lane miles of highway, or roughly 60%. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Lockport Union-Sun Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. This obituary is about James V. Glynn, Maid of the Mist chairman and CEO, who died at 91. James V. Glynn, 91, chairman and chief executive officer of Niagara Falls-based Maid of the Mist Corporation, passed away on Sunday at home following a lengthy illness. Glynn joined Maid of the Mist in 1950 as a ticket seller, using his salary to finance his education at Niagara University. He fulfilled a lifelong dream on May 25, 1971, when he purchased the company. Under his leadership, Maid of the Mist expanded operations exponentially, becoming a world-class attraction for countless guests from countless nations, and today operates 2 environmentally friendly all-electric vehicles. When those vessels were placed into service on the lower Niagara River on October 5, 2020, he told WBFO-FM, "My first job at the Maid of the Mist was having a palm of pamphlets, and I handed them out at Prospect Point. When I gave you a pamphlet, I gave you a ticket and asked for $1. The ticket was 90 cents for the boat and 10 cents for the elevator. Glynn was known for the kindness and generosity he showed to the Maid of the Mist associates, many of whom spent decades with the company. He was also a shipbuilder, launching 7 new vessels, Maid of the Mist 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. On July 31st, 2020, Maid of the Mist christened 2 new all-electric, zero-emission vehicles, their first of their kind in the United States. One was named in his honor as the James V. Glynn. The ceremony included a mast stepping, a mariner's tradition of placing a coin under the mast of a vessel for good luck. A 6-pence Irish coin from 1950 was placed in the James V. Glynn in honor of the family's Irish heritage and commemorating Mr. Glynn's first year with the company. James Glynn's longtime dedication to the committee was exemplary. He served in a variety of leadership roles, most notably as a 22-year member of the Niagara University Board of Trustees, where he became the board's first lay chairman and was chairman emeritus. He chaired the successful 1997 Catholic Charities of Buffalo appeal, and in 2017, Catholic Charities named their location on Toronto Lone Pace and Niagara Falls the Glynn Family Service Center. He also served as a director for several leading organizations in the Buffalo-Niagara region, including M&T Bank, National Fuel Gas Company, Buffalo Niagara Partnership, Niagara Falls Area Chamber of Commerce, Catholic Health, and AAA of Western and Central New York. Community service organizations in Niagara County also benefited from James and Mary Glynn's philanthropic generosity. They contributed mightily to Heart, Love, and Soul, securing its permanent home on Ontario Ave in Niagara Falls, where it provides hunger relief and social services. They also supported the Francis Center in Niagara Falls, where the Sisters of St. Francis provide educational and emotional support to neighborhood children, as well as the OLV charities in Lackawanna. Under Glynn's leadership, the Maid of the Mist has long supported the work of Opportunities Unlimited, United Way of Niagara Falls, Mount St. Mary Hospital in Lewiston, CARE Express Transportation Service, a van transportation service for medical appointments at Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center, Summit Healthplex, and Hamilton B. Miser Primary Care Center. The Maid of the Mist also sponsors the Niagara University Vincentian Scholarship Program, the Diocese of Buffalo Cure of Ars Dinner, which supports priestly and permanent diaconate formation, and the James V. and Mary Glynn Endowment Fund for the Roman Catholic Foundation of Buffalo. When asked about his countless charitable contributions in typical Jim Glynn fashion, he responded, "If I don't do it, who will?" The book, The Magic of the Mist, written by Linus Ormsby, recounts a conversation between Mary and James Glynn when they were newlyweds in 1958. He was considering enrolling in law school when Mary asked him, "Would you be happy sitting behind a desk in a law office?" James responded, "I think I'll stay at the Maid." He never left. Funeral arrangements are pending. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Lockport Union-Sun Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. This article is from features on exploring the Niagara Frontier, the joy of keeping an annual list of bird sightings by Bob Confer. Most bird watchers are in some ways listeners. Most keep life lists are listers. Most keep life lists counting all the species of birds that they have ever seen. Then there are birders who tabulate both species and the numbers for various special annual events like the Christmas bird count, feeder watch, and the Great Backyard Bird Count. And there are those who take on competitive big year, trying to accumulate as many birds as possible in the calendar year. The North American record is held by John Weigel, who saw 840 species in 2019, surpassing his 2016 record of 836. Earlier in this decade, I started something I call the Little Year. By doing so, I keep count of all the species I see in New York State each year. I'm not driven to accumulate as many species as possible, so I don't go out of my way to gather gull species in the wintry Niagara Gorge, nor do I spy upon wetlands at the wildlife refuges in May to get shorebird species. And I don't chase down rare species whose locations are shared among birders online. My goal is to check off the birds I see in my regular travels as they happen, not as I make them happen. Nature spaces that I frequent in or near Niagara County include my home in Gasport, around my workplace in North Tonawanda, and the Erie Canalway Trail, all joined by a handful of hikes in Iroquois National Wildlife Refuge. In Allegheny County, my bird watching takes place in a forest in Alma, the Wag Trail, and Vandermark State Forest. I also spend 1 week every summer vacationing in the central Adirondacks near Eagle Bay. By keeping to the places I love and the places that see me often in my quest to make this list, it brings a special sort of appreciation, wonder, and theorizing as to the everyday. It allows me to see trends, consider species new to a place, and ponder what happened to birds I didn't see. Consider the yellow-bellied sapsucker. I see them quite regularly in Allegheny County, but I hadn't seen one in Niagara County in decades. And when I say decades, I literally mean it has been 30 years since I saw one on the Lake Plains. That changed in 2025 when I saw them there twice. That led my mind to wander. They were relatively common there when I was a kid. So were elm trees. Is it coincidental that the bird disappeared when those trees succumbed to disease? Another surprising sighting occurred one day when my 6-year-old daughter and I were fishing the Genesee River in the town of Willing. Not only did Ariel outfish her proud father that day, but she also directed my attention to a first for me. She asked, "Why is that bird watching us?" I turned to see that it was watching us, and then I had to watch it. It was a brewer's blackbird, a bird of the Midwest and West that rarely wanders into New York. I was so pleasantly surprised to again check off the merlin after a 2-year absence on the list. Prior to that, I could regularly count on seeing the bird of prey perched on the fence outside of the Wellsville Airport. In 2025, they were back at their familiar hunting grounds. I was happy for their return. There are many more stories around last year's list and the lists of all the years before. Like every year that I get to spend time in the outdoors, it was a good year. Over the course of 2025, I accumulated 123 species. Many experienced birders might scoff at that number, especially from a nature columnist, as many hardcore birders think 200 or more is a worthy goal. But my goal isn't to get a number, it's to get a better understanding of the birds I share my communities with. Those 123 provided enjoyment. They provided insight. They showed me how many birds are around me, birds adored, and birds that maybe I took for granted. I'm doing this list again in 2026, and again I'll use this checklist from the New York Ornithological Association. I encourage you to do the same. Whether your bird watching takes place in your backyard, in the vast state forests in Allegheny County, or on the public trails along the Niagara River. If you get 123 birds, 200 or 50, it's something. Like it did for me, it will open your mind and your heart. You'll maximize your understanding and love our feathered friends, no matter the final count. Good luck. This article is entitled, "The Year's First Meteor Shower and Supermoon Clash in January Skies." The year's first supermoon and meteor shower will sync up in January skies, but the light from one may dim the other. The quadrantid meteor shower peaks tonight into Saturday morning, according to the American Meteor Shower. In dark skies during the peak, stargazers typically see around 25 meteors per hour, but this time they'll likely glimpse less than 10 per hour due to light from Saturday's supermoon. The biggest enemy of enjoying a meteor shower is the full moon, said Mike Shanahan, planetarium director at Liberty Science Center in New Jersey. Meteor showers happen when speedy space rocks collide with the Earth's atmosphere, burning up and leaving fiery tails in their wake, the end of a shooting star. A handful of meteors are visible on any given night, but predictably showers appear annually when Earth passes through dense streams of cosmic debris. Supermoons occur when the full moon is closer to the Earth in its orbit. That makes it appear up to 14% bigger and 30% brighter than the fairest moon of the year, according to NASA. The differences can be tough to notice with the naked eye. Supermoons, like all full moons, are visible in clear skies everywhere that it's at night. The quadrantids, on the other hand, can be seen mainly from the northern hemisphere. Both can be glimpsed without any special equipment. To spot the quadrantids, venture out in the early evening away from city lights and watch for fireballs before the moon crashes the party, says Jacques Benitez with Morrison Planetarium at the California Academy of Sciences. Sky gazers can also try looking during early dawn hours on Sunday. Wait for your eyes to get used to the darkness and don't look at your phone. The space rocks will look like fast-moving white dots and appear over the whole sky. Meteor showers are named for the constellation where the fireballs appear to come from. The quadrantids, space debris from the asteroid 2003 EH1, are named for a constellation that is no longer recognized. The next meteor shower, called Lyrids, is slotted for April. Supermoons happen a few times a year and come in groups, taking advantage of the sweet spot in the new moon's elliptical orbit. Saturday night's events ends a 4-month streak that started in October. There won't be another supermoon until the end of 2026. This article is entitled, Residents Can Soon Shuffle Over to a New Brewpub. The former Kenzie's site also features 4 upper apartments. Local residents can start gearing up for shuffleboard season as the city's new Shuffle City Brew Company prepares to open in late January. Matt Martin, owner of the former Kenzie's at 13 West Main Street, said all parts of the building renovation are near completion. We're finally getting close to being able to announce an actual opening date, he said. The brew pub will feature 5 regulation indoor shuffleboard courts and 2 indoor bocce courts in the space where the bowling alleys existed in the original Kenzie's. Martin said there wasn't any salvageable wood from the bowling alleys, but the bar was saved. Martin said the pub will run shuffleboard leagues for 4-person teams Monday through Thursday during the fall and winter, with open play Friday through Saturday. He said the regulation shuffleboard courts are a surprising 52 feet long by 6 feet wide. The building is a lot bigger than people think, he said. It's definitely a different spin on a brewery. Shuffleboard players use 6-foot cues to slide pucks across the court in scoring zones, Martin said. Zones have different point values. It's a game anyone can play, from a young kid to someone in their 70s and 80s, he said. You don't have to have a certain talent or skill to play it and have fun. The biggest thing, too, is that it's a game that can be played in the wintertime. What we're really trying to promote is ours is a family-type atmosphere where, as opposed to darts, it's an older age game. Martin said when the establishment opens, there will be instructional sessions on how to play shuffleboard. Other segments of the business are moving along faster, Martin said. We did hire our executive chef, and she is working on the menu. Everything is hooked up brewery-wise. Brewer Colin Herzog of the Flying Bison Brewing Company in Buffalo was hired full-time in the fall when a 6-barrel brewing system was installed. A lot of people are going to come here because of Colin, Martin said, because not only is he creating beer, but he's creating non-alcoholic brews and some sodas. Martin said the business had a capacity to brew 5,000 barrels a year, and the bar will offer 17 beers on tap. The brewery will produce beers for Willowbrook Golf Course, and Martin said it will eventually launch bottled beers for distribution. Martin said he expects the brew pub to be open for lunch, dinner, and bar food until about 10 p.m., with seating for nearly 250. The building also features 4 apartments on the upper floor. The 2-bedroom apartments are 1,400 square feet each, and there are 2 single-bedroom units. This article is entitled "Stolen BMW Freezes Solid in Hamburg Parking Lot. Vehicle's exterior and interior encased in ice as owner worked to have it towed." An abandoned BMW has created quite a scene in Hamburg this week. On Monday, the car was found in the parking lot of Hoke's Lakeshore Restaurant, which overlooks Lake Erie. With all of its windows down, according to 7 News, WKBW, police confirmed the car had been stolen out of Buffalo. The intense winter storms did not go easy on the sedan. Erie's wind and waves battered the luxury car, causing it to freeze solid. Both the car's interior and exterior became encased in ice. On Tuesday, the car remained in the parking lot in the same condition. Police indicated to WKBW, who filmed live at the scene, that the owner had been notified and was working to have their car towed. In the meantime, the frozen car became a tourist destination as locals stopped by to witness the raw power of Lake Erie's winds. One curious onlooker, Justin Reither of Orchard Park, told the outlet, "It's pretty crazy to see in person, I'll tell you that." Hamburg resident Stephen Mitchell called it one of the most interesting things I've seen in quite a while. However, Kevin Hoke, co-owner of the restaurant, didn't seem too star-struck by the vehicle's presence. "I have not talked to police, but I know they are on it. It's Buffalo. People just come in and want to take pictures in front of it and whatnot. It's kind of become a destination. Hopefully they'll come in for a fish fry as well." This is the second time a car has been completely frozen in Hoke's parking lot in the last decade. In January 2016, images of a different frozen car outside the family restaurant went viral, earning it the nickname Ice Car. However, there are no suspicious activity involved in that case. The owner, Justin Yellen, told WKBW at the time, "It had to happen to me. I'm that type of guy." You have been listening to a reading of articles and features from current issues of the Lockport Union-Sun and Journal. We read from the Lockport Union-Sun and Journal every Saturday at 5 p.m. Your reader has been Dave. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have a reading of the Wall Street Journal off-duty section. At 7 o'clock, we got Harper's Magazine, and at 8 o'clock, we have Sports Illustrated. Stay tuned for these readings and more throughout the day. You're listening to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Radio readers broadcast daily readings 24 hours a day of newspapers, magazines, and books to area people who are blind or have a print disability who are provided reading radios. Our broadcast signal is provided at no charge by WNED. Radio reading broadcasts throughout the city of Buffalo, western New York, and southern Ontario's Niagara Peninsula. For more information on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, call us at 716-821-5555. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or